This is what's wrong because the library and our mayor have said that, look, this is going to be the official religion of our city, of our government, of our state, and the official party is going to be the Democrat Party. And that's what makes all this wrong as well. And I'm the first one to tell somebody to back off. Enough is enough. And it's wrong, and I'm calling you out on it.
It may be his first time, second time, third time. I don't know. I got to find out. Tex Christopher is a local cultural warrior here for the Lord Jesus Christ in the Houston area. Now, Raging Elephants radio contributor Tracy Shannon is an ally of Tex Christopher. And we've got something crazy going on down here in Houston called Drag Queen Story Time at the Houston Public Library. Tracy has been keeping us up to date sort of on what's going on. I haven't talked to Tracy in the last couple of weeks, so it's great to have Tex on because he's going at them right at their, just going right at their grill, going right for the midsection, going right for the kill shot because he's taking legal action on this matter. Tex, welcome, my brother, to Raging Elephants Radio's Conversation Line.
Thank you so much for having me, Apostle. It's a joy and honor to get to be with you guys today. Thank you so much.
Now, I think this is the first time perhaps we've had a conversation on my particular air shift, but I don't think this is your first time on Raging Elephants Radio, is it?
No, sir. No, sir.
Oh, good.
I've been on the show over the years many times.
Okay, good, because I would be...
It's always a joy to be with you guys.
I would be embarrassed if it was the actual first time ever with all your activism. Tex, a real rodeo cowboy, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Once a rodeo cowboy, always one. Tex, you have built up quite a reputation of being a cultural warrior here, which is quite all right in the political sphere. Leviticus 18 tells us we're commanded by God to protect the spiritual integrity of the land. Do not practice, and otherwise normalize some of these deviant behaviors that are being normalized by American culture and American society through the various means, whether it's academia, entertainment, and certainly in politics, in the seats of governance, the Supreme Court even. And Houston has been, believe it or not, ground zero for many of these battles. Of course, you were involved with the defeat of the H.E.R.O ordinance, and here you are again, tip of the spear, once again, normalizing deviant behavior, drag queen story time in Houston public libraries, Houston government libraries. This was drawn to your attention, and you launched into action right away. Just started. Where was your jump off point, Tex Christopher, on this particular battle that has to be won?
Well, any time that we have the opportunity to take our rightful place in the community and stand for righteousness, literally being that portable temple that God calls us to be and to be warriors for Him, and the opportunity to be able to stand and to protect women and children and anyone that needs a voice, someone to draw a line in the sand, as we say here in Texas, and say, not on my watch, and back off, don't mess with us. This was just another perfect opportunity. I was leading the charge to defeat sex robots coming to America, to Texas, and to Houston, and a city councilman reached out to me, Michael Kubash, and he goes, man, I know that you're so against these sex robots coming to this country, but he said, I need your help with these drag queens reading to our children. And that's all it took. And I'm like, what is going on? And then the only way that we're going to make a change is to come at things from a legal way. And that's exactly what we're getting to do, Apostle. And we're leading, motivating, and inspiring other men to take their rightful place in their own communities. And the opportunities are all around us. The question is, are we going to take a stand, or are we going to sit and watch?
Tex Christopher is my guest here on Raging Elephants Radio. Tex, we just want to go back and let people understand what's been going on. This necessarily wasn't snuck in under the radar. Drag queens going to the Houston Public Library and reading to 2, 3, 4, 5-year-olders and younger wasn't snuck in under the radar. It was highly publicized, and the media took to it. The first media accounts wasn't necessarily, I wouldn't call them indictments. They were sort of matter of factual, if you will. But it certainly outraged portions of the Harris County community. And you were part of it. I think Dr. Stephen Hotze has spoken out against it, taken actions against it, and others. Where does the fight stand right now, Tex?
Yes, sir. Well, the fight stands in taking it into the courts. And so I'm a good old country boy, Apostle, and you don't go and talk to the snake. You cut the head off the snake. That's just how you take care of business. And so the facts is that the facts in the case are undisputed matters of public record. The case presents itself as an emergency here in our community. In July 2018, the Public Library, in conjunction with the American Library Association, they took the initiative to partner with a non-secular organization. And we're talking about Planned Parenthood to be able to host this Drag Queen Story Hour for our 2 to 10-year-olds in the children's section of a public library. And it was the librarian's idea to recruit these self-identified adult transvestites to host the Drag Queen Storytime Hour in effort to pander the sexual immorality to children. And that right there in itself is violation of the Texas Penal Code 4324. So the Children's Library is a place that's paid by we the taxpayers, and they shouldn't be using our taxpaying dollars to promote and to exhibit anything when we have the separation of church and state. And that's why I filed the lawsuit. There's a lot of people that are talking about it, but I'm somebody in the community that's being about it. And I'm not afraid to call somebody out and say, this is what's wrong, and this is what is factual, and this goes against the Establishment Clause of the First Amendment. And the First Amendment guarantees the right of individuals to believe and to practice their religion, or to practice no religion at all, Apostle, but it prohibits government from establishing or endorsing a religion or any religions. So this is supposed to be guaranteed. And so the amendment guarantees the right of individuals to receive information on religious topics. Libraries support the right by providing access to diverse religions throughout becoming a proponent of them. And so what's wrong is when you're taking taxpayer dollars and saying, here is human secularism. And what that means is we have these guys that they think they're a girl. That requires them thinking, and it's their beliefs. And they're indoctrinating our children, and that's what's wrong. If you're a man, you're a man. You're not a girl. If you're a girl and you think that you're a man, that's your belief. That's human secularism. And this thing is a worldwide epidemic that is spreading very, very, very fast. And it takes someone that's willing to stand up and say, look, this is unconstitutional, and let me take it to the courts and prove otherwise.
Okay, Tex, there was 2 points you brought up there that I want to follow up on that were very interesting. Number one, as far as your legal approach, you are saying that these actions by Harris County Public Library fall under the scope of a religion, human secularism. This is your argument that what's happening here is the government here in Houston is promoting a specific denomination or a specific faith, in this case, human secularism, as if, you know, there are other denominations out there that are considered Christian, non-Christian, that are considered specious and false religions. And you're using the argument that human secularism as a faith, as a religion, what we call neo-morality around Raging Elephants Radio, that's what's being pushed, and that's a violation of the First Amendment. That's just the essence of your argument.
That is. The library is in direct violation of the guideline in hosting as well as endorsing. They promote this on their website that you and I pay for with our tax dollars. They use marketing materials, the flyers that they hand out, that's using our taxpaying dollars. They use a government building that's funded by we the taxpayers, paying government employees to correspond, personally inviting these organizations out. It takes man hours to be able to do that. Emails are going back and forth. They've partnered up with Planned Parenthood and the American Library Association, and they're on a mission, and the mission is a direct violation. And so when they have a space that they're setting aside for self-identified transvestites to sit here and to indoctrinate our children with the religion of human secularism, it's the intentional effort to put religion over non-religion, and there's a thing called separation in church and state. So what I've done is I've come in, and the same rules that have been used against the church for all these years, I'm saying now I'm flipping it on them, and I'm calling for a level playing field.
Talking with Tex Christopher, you made mention of science text, something that I've spoken about here on my program. And isn't it funny, let's say when Emmanuel Macron came over here and addressed a joint session of Congress up in Washington, Devil City, he got thunderous applause, especially from the left, especially from the Democrats, when he spoke of climate change and that science had settled it. Science hasn't settled anything as far as climate change is concerned. I'm not going to go into that argument. But I want to point out the argument is that whether it's by Obama, by the United Nations, whether by the globalists, climate change is settled by science. But when it comes to the millennia-old science law, when it comes to biology, they reject it. When you are conceived as an individual, your sex is defined, your gender is defined until you take your last breath. No matter what body parts you chop off or glue on, or how many hormones you take, or how much silicone you stash into your body, at conception, your sex is assigned for life. That's the biology. It is settled by science. But they reject that. That's the duplicity of the left, the duplicity of the neo-moralist. Your thoughts on this, Tex Christopher?
Well, you're absolutely right. It's a mental disorder to think otherwise. I mean, this is a worldview on what sexuality is, and science is what supports it and what backs it. And it doesn't matter if you agree with it or not. Science is, the facts are the facts. And so this event seeks to seduce minors and cultivating sympathy for the GLBT ideology, not science. Ideology is the key word. Second, it's there to entice minors to open the door to adopting the GLBT lifestyle through sexually suggestive innuendos and reading these books about boy mermaids and about it's okay to feel this way if you're a boy. It's okay to go ahead and want to be a princess. And all of this is ideology, and that is the separation of the scientific facts versus the religion of human secularism. And now what it is we have this call, literally, that's all around the globe. This thing started in San Francisco. It's been up in New York. Now it's down here in the great state of Texas and Houston. And they're wanting to go ahead and make this a strong focal point here in Texas, because as Texas goes, not only goes our nation, but so goes the world. And so this has been taking place, and there's other entities that are coming along and supporting this movement. And that's what makes it a religious movement. And we've seen this happen before in our nation. And my question to everyone is when is enough going to be enough? We can't sit here and continue to expand the law. The law is what sets the precedent. It's set by our morals and our values and what is acceptable standards in the community. And so when you take the government to come in and you take our mayor and the previous administration, and they are on a mission to indoctrinate the LGBT ideology into our young people and on the minds that are so impressionable and at a young and vulnerable age, they're not taking it to you and me, because you and me and our age group in our 40s, we've already rejected it. They have very few people that want to come out and say, I have a mental disorder. I think that I'm something. I mean, what's next? We're going to come in and say, oh, I'm really not 45. I think I'm 30. I think I'm going to be a teenager now. I'm going to go back to being 13. I mean, this is pathetic, Apostle.
Tex Christopher is my guest, and he's leading the charge against the drag queen story time here in Harris County. And like you said, it's swept in from the left coast, out there from San Fran Freak Show. And when we get back from this break right here, we're going to talk to Tex about the sex robots, where that stands, but the political implications of what's going on with drag queen story time, why Houston seems to continually be ground zero for these culture wars. And time again, Houstonians prove, even at the ballot box, they don't want to have anything to do with it. And the GOP doesn't seem to take advantage of that. And as a result, like on November 6th, the GOP here in Harris County and across Texas got their cookies spanked. The political implications. Restraining order, or is HPL continuing to schedule and conduct the drag queen story times? What's the latest on that?
The drag queen story time has already filled their schedule over at the Montrose Library for 2019. There will be another drag queen story time December 27th of this year at the Montrose Library. And you should see these men at night. And we've gotten on their Instagram accounts and the things that they are doing with other men and all the vulgar things that they are publicly putting out there.
You're talking about the actual. You're talking about the actual storytellers themselves on their social media.
Yes.
They give a wide glimpse of what their quote unquote private life is really like.
There you go. And we're talking a lot of nudity and obscene gestures. And these parents should be ashamed of themselves for going and exposing their children and taking them when and it's not their own free will of their own sound mind, knowing what it is that they're doing, because they are minors. And this is a mental disorder, and to expose children to this ideology is wrong. And I'm not going to skirt away from the issue. I will tell you to your face, if you're a parent and you're out there and you're exposing your children, shame on you. You are wrong.
Tex, there is a political component to this. There is a political party, maybe not en masse, the Republican Party, that is taking a stance against the neo-morality movement, against at least those who are fighting the neo-morality movement, the human secularism, as you are legally calling it. They attach themselves to the GOP. I think it's inescapable to say that it can't be debated that the left, and specifically the Democratic Party, are embracing it and believe that it means political expedience and a road to power. Your thoughts, Tex?
Well, absolutely. And this is because the library and our mayor have said that, look, this is going to be the official religion of our city, of our government, of our state, and the official party is going to be the Democrat Party. And that's what makes all this wrong as well. And I'm the first one to tell somebody to back off. Enough is enough. And it's wrong, and I'm calling you out on it. And so we're taking it to the courts. And we need other people to be able to come out and support us. This